Welcome to an all-new Nerds to Men quarantine edition. We're actually not quarantined. We're just encouraged to social. Well, no, because I left. I've gone somewhere every day because my job takes me everywhere. But
yeah, my job, they want us to work from home, but it's kind of hard for me because this is all new, and I haven't had the chance to sell anything while everybody's quarantined or not in in scared mode.
Panic mode, yeah.
Panic mode, there we go. I couldn't think of the word.
Well, and you're right, but I mean, the thing is, like in my business, it hasn't slowed down at all. They still want
really?
the cannabis products.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of, nice for us because, and I don't want to make light of anybody else's situation, but obviously I've got employees that I'm worried about and, want to keep paying and all that. Right. So it's not just me. I'm not just happy for myself, but I am sad for everybody else who is going through it. I know like restaurant workers and stuff like that are feeling it. And school teachers, they've been extended longer. So am I hearing a cat? Is that your cat or my cat?
That's T'Challa. He's upset that Christine went out in the garage and he can't go out there, so he's crying for her.
Ah, I see.
T'Challa, come here.
Well, so this is the actual, we'll just share it with everyone. This is the second time we've recorded this episode.
Yes.
Hopefully the last one. But now that, and like I said, we're not in quarantine for real, but we are asked to stay home as much as possible.
Right.
So in the podcasting world, everybody's been jumping on Skype, and it's been working out okay, but like the problem is audio. There's just I've done a few of them with JD and the Fullback U podcast over the week, and I think it took us 3 times because one time I had a bunch of notifications popping up, I had a bunch of echo problems, and then I don't, like, here's the other problem too, is while we're doing this, the only way I know how to do this right now is set record and then go for it.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here like not really being able to see a lot of the levels, and I'm also not able to like actually make sure that we're still recording. So it's a little bit hard to like do the show, and then I mean, it's actually easier in one way, but it's like we're way without a net. So there might be a time where like we have an unnatural pause or something, and that's just me checking the audio or checking to make sure we're still recording, because ideally I don't want to do this one 3 times.
No, let's not. Let's try not to.
But it is the new world that we live in, Cameo, where
right.
We're trying to do things a little differently, but stay giving people the content. By the way, for the people who are watching, you're on you're using your phone, and that video,
Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Yep.
What is it?
Galaxy Note 10 Plus. That
video looks good, really good.
Well, I mean, you should probably get a Galaxy phone.
Shoot, I might. But yeah, Cameo, we're gonna probably get you one of like these headsets. I bought a new headset today, so for people who are like into the podcasting and stuff, it's a Cloud 2. I got it at Best Buy. It's kind of, my stuff is all weird, but I don't know. Well, hopefully it works good. We're going to get you one, so we'll get a little fuller sound from you when you're on location.
Word.
I like having you in the studio for sure, but this would also, if we were able to do this more often, it might make to where we do the show more often. So
yeah.
But like I say, we got to get you hooked up on the camera or on the microphone. But I think for now, I mean, I've heard a lot of podcasts, and a lot of people are using Skype right now. It's the best way, I think, to socially distance yourself and stay connected. All right, Cameo, let's go ahead and get into the show. We got some stuff to talk about, some nerd updates, and we also want to talk about Westworld, which season 3 just premiered last Sunday on HBO.
Watching this, episode 2 comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
You're watching it today, and today is Saturday, so.
Yeah, it is Saturday when we're recording this. But I want to know, Cameo, first of all, did you watch season 1 and 2 as they came out? I remember we've talked about Westworld. We're friends with Leonardo Nam. Shout out.
Yep.
But did you watch it from the beginning, or did you get into it a little later?
No, I watched from the jump.
And then, did you watch the old movies?
No, I did not watch the movies.
Okay. And you still haven't?
Right.
Okay. Right. When I grew up, Westworld, I think there's 2 movies, but neither of those were on my radar. Like, I never really, heard of those. And it seems like with the sci-fi, robots and stuff, that would have been something I'd have been into, but for whatever reason, I don't know. I wasn't into it, but that's either here nor there. I want to talk about the premiere then the other night, because Westworld, to me, I love that it's like this Western for one, but then it's been beautifully shot. I thought all the way up.
My cat's trying to get up here.
Oh, all the way up till now, anyway.
So since you brought your cat on the other day,
yeah,
first run through. This is T'Challa. He's kind of crazy.
I might have to pop up the video of me showing off my animals, even though the audio didn't make it.
All right.
Yeah, because we had Wednesday on the show, and then Nanook made an appearance. Yeah. But no, what I was saying was I really like the Western feel of Westworld, of course, and I liked the music. I don't want to mess up the guy who has made the music for Westworld. He's also made music for Game of Thrones, lots of stuff. And if I had tried to say his name right now, I would just mess it up. But he's awesome. I suggest you look him up. But I felt like with this episode that premiered the other night, it didn't feel like a Westworld episode. And they're in the future now, or not the future, but they're not in Old West times. They're in what they consider to be the current times or whatever. But it's more futuristic for sure.
Oh yeah. And if you watched season 3, if you watched season 3 so far, it's pretty futuristic. They have like drone helicopters. Right.
That was really cool. I enjoyed that.
What is it? Automatic motorcycles.
Yeah.
Would you say automatic? No.
Drone motorcycles.
Drone motorcycles. Yeah. Drone vehicles.
It all seemed like they were drones. Like the drone motorcycle, the drone. It wasn't like a helicopter or an airplane, but it was a drone thing. It looked like a drone from way out, and then as it got closer, you could see it was huge and that it carried people. Yeah. So that's probably how we'll get our Amazon mail, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got a notification from FedEx, and they were talking about how you don't have to sign for your packages anymore due to the whole coronavirus. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah,
I did notice that somebody brought us a package at the warehouse the other day, and he handed it to me, and there was it was just like, here you go, and he was out. So I was like, I get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, precautions, jobs, especially like mail carriers are doing, especially if they don't drop it off in your mailbox. This package is left on your doorstep. They definitely are trying not to have you touch anything more than what you have to.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I think that's pretty.
Yeah, I agree with it. But back to Westworld, which, think about that. Like, that could be a new society where drone cars are taking you around, because hopefully that, you know, but there might be a lot less people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But
We might have those glasses that the guy was wearing, where we just see a virtual person
yeah, yeah,
rather than the actual person.
yeah. I mean, this is all stuff that seems so futuristic when you watch it on Westworld. But then again, with like the way the world has gone the last few weeks, you're like, anything could happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be The Walking Dead pretty soon.
I hope not. But you know, please, people, I hope nobody gets offended by this, because we joke, because it's, you know, that's what we do in times of trouble. But
Yeah.
I have heard somebody say that 5G could like mutate the virus or all that.
That a lot of people say that's what caused the virus.
So, but again, that's what I think is interesting in a way is 10 years ago, even, this would have all seemed like a movie or a TV show. Now we're
Dude,
talking about it like it could be something that really could happen.
yeah, like I'm looking at the movies Contagion
Yeah.
and Outbreak, and it's just like,
Which those weren't like zombie movies either, but
no, no, no.
they were realistic in the fact that, you know, they predicted that a pandemic would, you know, sweep the world like it did.
Yeah,
Of course, it's not quite like it was in the movie yet, but in some countries they might beg to differ.
right, right.
So, but anyway, I just
Westworld went down a rabbit hole.
it's hard not to in this day and age. But
Right.
the point that I was making was the Westworld world doesn't seem that far away anymore. It doesn't seem like that far into the future anymore. Maybe when you saw that movie back in the 70s or 80s, I think maybe by the time Westworld 2 came out, you might have thought, man, that's so far in the future. But now it's like, it's not. And one of the reasons that I bring that up too is because in the episode they were talking about how they were in a simulation, and they were talking about what if they were a simulation. So that's what really caught my interest in this episode, because you had predicted that now that they're in what they think is the real world, Dolores and Bernard and others, you were saying that you thought, no, they're still in a theme park or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and which I think is a great prediction, just based off of everything we've seen, that would make so much sense. But I'm thinking now that it's not a real world or a theme park like I thought of it before, but it's a simulated world. So like they're basically in video games.
Yeah, I can see that.
And here's why I think, because Westworld, that's Red Dead Redemption, right? Samurai World, I mean, that could be a video game. I don't know which. I don't have one to throw out that one would be based on, but
Well, the video game that just came out called Neo 2 is a samurai based game, but it's not what we have seen from Samurai World at the end of season 2, right?
yeah,
That was, something, completely different than what this video game is. But I mean, samurais and stuff.
yeah. I mean, that would. I still think it goes with my theory that these are more of like a video game simulation.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, too, I think, with Aaron Paul's character, Caleb, he's, you said this, our first go around of doing the show, that, it's kind of like he's like in GTA.
exactly. Because like, do you play GTA at all?
No, I've played it, but I don't play it now.
Well, like in the game, you've got like a cell phone that that gives you jobs and stuff to do, just like what he's doing. And so, yeah, it seems like he could definitely, in my opinion, be in the GTA park or whatever. But again, it's not a park; it's a simulation.
Right.
Because think about it, when those guys went to Westworld, they got on those trains, and then all of a sudden they were in Westworld. Now, they could have been going from like a real place to a fake place, basically a theme park. But seems to me like they went to sleep and woke up in a simulation.
Yeah.
So, but again, and I did mention this the last go around too, but would they give it away that easy in the first episode?
Well, see, I would like to say no. But again, if you look at the fact that the first season where Bernard thinks that he's actually Bernard,
right?
But in all reality, he's not. And I will say this too, the going theme is in the whole show and all the seasons is that what you see is not what it really is.
True.
So Bernard saw that, that photo in, I can't remember his name, Anthony Hopkins' character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He saw
Ford
that
in
picture.
Ford's office.
Ford, yeah. He didn't see himself because he was programmed not to see himself. So we all thought Bernard was an actual character, but he was actually a simulation. And I forgot in season 2, I forgot what that part was. But in season 3, we now have these virtual glasses.
Yeah.
That, show people that are there or that are there but really aren't.
Right.
So I'm thinking that, yes, I believe Ford is up to something. I think he will come back. Or if not, I think Ford has put into play something that Dolores is actually thinking that she's doing, but she's really not.
Yeah. So let's talk about Dolores a little bit. She is, of course, the main star of the show now, which always was based around her, but we see more of her than anybody else. And she's on a quest. We're not sure what she's up to, but
I think she's just trying to
take over the world.
Yeah, make the humans extinct because they're, they have proven to show that we're not good. Right. Because the guy that was, also spoilers, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we said that.
We didn't this time. Spoilers. It'll be all over and I'll make sure to throw up some signs or whatever, some graphics.
I forgot to do that earlier.
Yeah. It's a new world where spoilers just are going to happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Get used to
it. So the main guy that she ends up stealing money from, and the guy ends up dying.
She did take his money, right? But she also wanted access to all of the, or did she just take his money? Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with that, but
just that he was a bad guy because they talked about how when he went to the park, she remembered him because he was there to blow off a little steam before he got married or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So
they're not good people.
Right. Humans have proved not to be good people. So I think she wants to get rid of especially the ones that are evil.
Right.
Sure.
Well, and here's the interesting thing to me is later on in the show, she clones somebody that, and I'm like, well, I guess she made a robot of them, though, not cloned them. We're talking about Westworld, not Star Wars, but yeah, she made a robot of one of the characters real quick. How did she do that?
Well, you realize that she's talking to somebody. I don't know if it's the main brain computer.
Yeah.
That, does a 3D printing of the characters the hosts they're guests, right? Mm-hmm. No, the hosts. I forgot what the robots are called. They're called the hosts.
The hosts, yeah.
So, so I'm thinking she's talking to something that if people are a threat, she's already knows that they are going to have to be replaced by a host.
Right.
So I'm thinking, whoever she's talking to or whoever she's in partner with, which Tessa Thompson's character, I think she might be talking to her.
Right.
because we see her later on in the show for maybe a scene or two. But sorry, I have the news on, and there's like no traffic in New York right now,
which is crazy.
Yeah, they're in Times Square right now, and I want to say there's probably like 20 cars.
I know, it's nuts.
But anyways, back on track. It's I think that's whoever she thinks is going to be a threat, she already has in play to replace them with that host.
Well, that's interesting because, we talked about the fact that we think it might be a simulation. So before we were wondering who all is robots, who's not. Now we're wondering who's a simulation and who's not. Because remember what the first guy that she went and got everything from, who tried to attack her and ended up killing himself. He was talking to somebody who he was like, demanding get it done. And then like that person just disappeared because it was a hologram, but it looked like a real person. So you don't know who's a simulation or who's not now. Mm-hmm. And then she's making, robots of these people. And so again, we still don't know. We won't know in the future necessarily who's a robot or who's not. Good stuff. So like her story arc over the episode, she's basically doing a bunch of covert stuff, trying to embed herself into these organization insight by she was, I guess she was dating the guy who owned it.
Son.
But so we see all that go down, but it ends up backfiring on her and she gets caught. So they take her, and her and Caleb finally have an intersection, because we see Caleb, Aaron Paul, throughout the show. He's just kind of doing, his GTA kind of stuff, and doing odd jobs. He's a mercenary, and throughout the show, he's talking to somebody. You're kind of not sure if it's a memory, or if it is, because everybody's got the earbuds. But which I saw, I believe, like those are those Amazon earbuds that they put out where you can hear stuff and you can like turn it off to where you can hear people around you too.
Oh, cool.
So like I say, it's not that futuristic. But so he's
maybe we have the version 1.0s. They have the 10.0s. So,
yeah, for sure. But we're getting there. But so he's talking to this person, and you're wondering again, is it a memory? Is he actually talking to this guy? And it seems like he's ignoring all of his advice though as he's going along.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was his soldier buddy. And there's a scene where he dies, and you told me that's Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
Which I didn't recognize him, but I thought that was cool. I love Kid Cudi. But
obviously not, because you didn't realize who it was.
Man, there's so many people that I listen to that if I saw them in the streets right now, I'd be like, hi, I don't know who that is. You know what I mean? Like back in the day when I listened to music, like I would know every person in the band, every lyric, who wrote what song. I ain't got time for that now.
Old age, man. Old age.
But I do love Kid Cudi's music. I just haven't seen many of his videos or anything. But anyhow, but the thing about that was it showed him getting he got shot or whatever, and it showed Caleb going to him, but neither of them were dressed in like typical soldier uniforms, so I'm not sure that they were military.
Right. Yeah, they looked like they had street clothes. Light.
So maybe like special ops or CIA or... See, the reason though that I thought that they were going to be military at first was because Francis tells him something about going to the VA or something about the VA, I thought. Mm-hmm. But again, when it shows them at the end, it basically showed us that they weren't they weren't soldiers like typical, like what you would think. The reason I bring that up is because I feel like that that could be a hint that they were in a simulation. Because like think about GTA. If you've ever seen it, everybody's dressed and like they can pick their own outfits, but it's pretty like just there's not like there's any labels on it to tell you if it's whatever.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's generic. It's all like generic looking outfits, and they were wearing pretty generic looking like just green army coats, but no names, no ranks, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of funny too that it only seems that Westworld was what's the word I'm looking for? Compromised, because we see that in I'm going to say Samurai World. I don't know if that's the actual name for it, but it was seemed like it was still normal.
Yeah, business as usual. Before
we
go ahead.
Oh, and then I don't know how far you want to get into it, but towards the end, unless we're gonna talk about it, I'll just make it brief. The world that they showed at the end with Maeve, like that world still seems normal.
You're right. Let's hold off on that real quick. I'm kind of sort of going chronologically on this time. Last time we jumped around a lot, so but that's a podcast no one will ever see. So, but we'll wrap it up. But the cool thing that I thought was Caleb, he intersects because, and I didn't know that. I mean, this wasn't that cool, but he was bringing the drugs that they wanted to dope up Dolores. Because they were just going to offer, basically.
Yeah.
And so
I feel like in every movie, I know it's a show. I know movies do this. It's just like, if you have a threat, why don't you just kill it right then and there? Why do we have to bring it around, take out her central core processor or whatever.
But they don't know she's a robot. Do they?
I think they do. I want to say, you know what? They don't, because like you said, those were the drugs that they were injecting her with.
Yeah.
So
I mean, which
effect on her.
Which they might have known she was a robot, but not known that they wouldn't have any effect. But I feel like they didn't know she was a robot. But you're right. They were injecting her with that stuff. It didn't work, and so. And Caleb had already walked off by this point, so he didn't know what was going on. But he was the courier that brought him the drugs. Mm-hmm. So that led up to a really cool scene, though, where she basically, they think she's all doped up, and she's like, nope, that didn't have any effect on me, and she starts going Terminator on them.
Right. Yeah, that scene was pretty cool. At first, whenever she ended up running over one of the guys that she stabbed in the throat, I didn't realize that's what happened, because it happened so quick.
Yeah,
and it's in the back of a SUV, and I didn't realize that was still him walking behind the truck, and that was the rear view.
Yeah,
in the car whenever she ran over him. I was like, right. The Lord said, ain't here for that. Ain't here for these games right now.
No, and I thought that the way they filmed that was really cool with the backup cam going, and that way you could see what was happening in front and in back of the car. I thought that was pretty cool. Really good. And then the other great scene, Bernard wasn't really in the show much, but was he in Samurai World still?
No, I think he might have been in. I think he's in supposedly the regular world.
Oh, okay. But it looked like it was like a smaller island, like the Philippines or something like that. It didn't look.
Yeah, he seems like he's working on some type of farm, land. I don't.
Something like that. Well, I thought they were given coordinates which they never do, and I wasn't sure what was going on with that. But before some of the scenes, did you notice that it would show some coordinates and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I didn't realize that. I gotta go back and check it out there.
Yeah, but so I don't know where he was exactly then, but because the people he was working with when he goes Hulk smash style didn't seem like they were in Samurai World either. So,
right.
but it did look like he was somewhere on that side of the country or world. So anyway, he gets found out though, and they're kind of roughing him up, and he presses a button that sends him into Hulk smash mode.
Right.
And like, love Jeffrey Wright, man.
Spider-Man's instant kill mode.
Yeah. I love Jeffrey Wright. His acting was so like, he looked like he went from a person to a cold killer.
Right.
Like that.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty dope. I think Jeffrey Wright makes the show for me.
Oh, he makes everything. He makes everything.
I don't really care for Evan Rachel Wood, who plays Dolores.
I like her.
I mean, she's all right, but like, I don't know. I think Jeffrey Wright is the show, even though it's about Dolores and.
Well, he's just such a great actor that everybody, you know, not Anthony Hopkins, of course, but a lot of other people are gonna be eclipsed by him, as you know, because he's such a great actor, in my opinion. Right. Even Leo, our good buddy Leo.
Yeah.
I mean, just gotta admit it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but hey, shout out to Leo. I hope he comes back on the show soon.
Right.
But no, Jeffrey Wright is amazing. He's amazing, and I love everything he's done so far. Like everything I've seen, anyway. But there wasn't a whole lot of Bernard at the end of the show. Bernard ends up leaving. You thought he was looking for Maeve. I thought he was looking for Dolores. So we'll see.
Yeah, and the reason why I think that is because he was talking about needing some help.
Yeah.
And the only person that seems helpful, who's basically like Neo to like robots, is Maeve.
Right.
So I'm thinking Maeve might be able to stop her. Or
right.
I don't even know if Maeve wants to help stop her. But maybe once Bernard shows her what's actually going on and what the real thing is going on. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, again, his fight scene in the show was fantastic. Made the show worth watching, I thought. And then, so we get to the end. Caleb has circled back, and he comes across Dolores, who's been shot. And so now their stories are intersecting more, and we're going to see how that plays out. I'm sure he's going to try to help her. She's always like, but she's not. She just took out like all these people, but then it seems like she gets thrown back into the lady who needs help, you know, the lady in distress, you know. And so here's Caleb.
Right.
Just like the other two guys, you know, William, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, who was the other one that was in love? Oh, you know,
James
Cyclops.
James Marsden, yeah.
Yeah. So now Caleb is in that role. And I feel like I was wondering how Aaron Paul was going to play into this, if he was going to deal meth. What, you know, I didn't know.
The blue?
Yeah. But, you know, I thought he was good in this show. And I've seen him in stuff since Breaking Bad, and I didn't always think he was the greatest of actors. Like, he was probably playing up on the fact that he was in that show a little bit to get more roles. Yeah. But I thought he was good in Westworld.
Yeah, so far. I mean,
so far so good.
He looks like somebody who has some issues. You know, seems like he's dealing with PTSD from losing his friend or whatever that situation is between them two. Yeah, I think, you know, for what it is, I think he's doing a really good job so far. We'll see how he is in season 2 or episode 2. Oh, Oscar.
Yep, this is we're gonna end up showing off every animal, every child, every person in the because this is his home recording, you know.
Yep.
But that's Oscar.
Oscar.
He made his way into the studio, so. But yeah, man. So far, so good. Would you? Let me just ask you this, because I thought that it was a pretty interesting, kind of Black Mirror-esque part of the show, where we had mentioned he was talking to Francis, and then at the end we find out that it's just a voice in his earbuds that is a subscription service.
Yeah.
But I thought, that's something that a lot of people would say, oh, that's nuts. But it could be a comforting thing for some people to be able to hear from somebody they lost.
Yeah.
And I know that it would probably not be as in depth as being able to talk to somebody you had lost again, but it might give you some kind of comfort. I don't know. It might not be too realistic, but I mean, we're talking about a simulation world anyway. Is there anybody that you have lost, or anybody that you could think of that you might actually think I would actually do that? If
The funny thing is, I call her my fat grandma, because as a child, to differentiate which grandma I wanted to be around or talk to, she was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Rest her soul. But yeah, she was so funny, man. I remember the first time I didn't even have a girlfriend or anything like that. She was like, baby, if any girl messes with your heart, I got my shotgun and I'm ready for her.
Nice.
Yeah, she was straight thuggish, man.
Yeah.
She even brought a revolver to our family reunion, and I was like, Grandma, why? Because she asked me to hand her her fanny pack. Always had her fanny pack, but this is the first time I picked her fanny pack up, and it was a little bit heavier than usual. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh. So I felt around. I was like, this doesn't feel like a whole bunch of change. And I was like, that's the barrel. That's the hand.
Oh, no.
I was like, Grandma, why do you have a gun here? And she's like,
be careful, it's loaded.
Right. No, she didn't say that. But she was like, and this is on my black side of the family. And she said the N-word. So I'm not gonna say it because I don't want nobody to be upset. But she was like, just in case one of these people want to act crazy. I was like, Grandma. I was like, this is family. And she was like, I don't care. She was like, people can still act crazy. I was like, true. But I was like, this is family.
That's funny. She knew. Sometimes with family, that's the ones you need to watch the most.
About that life.
That's funny.
She was looking for somebody to shoot. Like, I think that was it.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to go to jail. I'm old. Yeah, that's funny. I definitely have, like, my brother, my grandpa, my great grandma Bessie. Like, there's different people that I would like to. I had a recording of my brother Ricky before he passed. When he was in Afghanistan, he called up to the Cat when I worked on Rock 100.5 the Cat, and it was Christmas time, and he called up and I recorded him basically wishing everybody, Merry Christmas and all that. And so I had, and I know I have it around somewhere. And so I like to listen to that every now and again. It gives me a little bit of, So it was weird that it's a subscription service where you could talk to somebody as though they're still alive. Like, I don't know that, like, that's probably a bit too much. But at the same time, that was an interesting, like I say, very Black Mirror-ish part for Westworld.
Yeah. Which I think, that's not too far off either.
No.
Because, I mean, we're getting AIs, artificial intelligence, to basically adapt to whatever we say or do.
Right.
So it's just like, I'm feeling that's what that was an AI talking to him, even though it had maybe some inkling of how Kid Cudi was in the past before he died.
Yeah.
If he died, we don't know
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we saw him get shot, but we didn't actually see him die.
Right.
But yeah. So I mean, again, I think that's the cool thing about Black Mirror. If people haven't watched it, is, I mean, cool and kind of frightening in a very terrifying way. Is that it's a lot about how technology really doesn't make our lives that much better. It's ended up hurting people and giving them false senses of I don't know, well-being or whatever. And so that's where I thought Westworld was kind of digging into that, and I thought that was cool. But that was one of the things that interested me from the show. And so then, so basically, we're at the very, very end now. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was, I don't know how I felt about it, to be honest. But Maeve wakes up, and she's in a room with these soldiers. And so it ends up panning out, and you see all these buildings that are all blown up and stuff. And they've got the swastikas. So she's back in World War II time somehow.
Nazi world,
yeah. And so, like I was like, okay, I could see you wanting to go to the Old West. I could see you wanting to go to like a future world. I could see you wanting to go to samurai world. But I start questioning you when you're like, I want to go hang out with the Nazis. Like, no, I don't. Right. I'm not sure. Now, again, he could be fighting the Nazis. You know, maybe he was like, I want to go back and experience some of the great battles that happened during World War II, or, you know, slap a Nazi. I want to slap Nazis all the time, Cameo.
Right.
You know, so it could have been that. But if you were like, I want to go to West, like, okay, so you know how in Westworld you get to pick white hat, black hat. If we're going to World War II world and somebody's like looking at the Nazi stuff, like, I'm gonna be like,
I like that swastika.
I'm gonna be like, I'm not your friend anymore.
Right.
You chose the swastika? No, right. I'm out. So I thought that was interesting, but it still goes back to my theory. That could have been like a Call of Duty game world.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Call of Duty and a lot of video games have been put out around World War II. There's like Nazi zombie games.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where that could be going.
Zombie world.
You know, there's got to be one. I mean,
yeah.
So there's a lot, like at the very end with Maeve, they left us with a lot of questions, like not only who would go to such a place, but what's going on there? Why did she wake up in that world like she didn't know where she was?
Right.
My cat is going to destroy everything. That was an awesome episode. Like I say, it left out some of the things I liked about Westworld to begin with, which was, you know, that it was a Western and the music was beautiful. And like, you remember that scene where they played Paint It Black? Like the cover of it and all that. Like it was awesome. Like, and I want more of that. But for the futuristic episode 1, it was all right for season 3.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So, real quick, since my cat invaded, did you end up watching Tiger King on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
I didn't. So we won't get into it on this episode, but we will on the next one.
Okay.
But you got to watch it. I mean, of course, anybody from Oklahoma has probably heard of Joe Exotic. And so you know a little bit about him already, but what I think is very interesting was all the stuff I didn't know about what was going on with him, but they show like all these other exotic pet owners from around the country, and they're all weird. They're all weirdos.
Yeah, like I can see that.
Yeah. So watch it. I think you're going to enjoy it, and we'll talk about it on the next episode.
Okay, cool.
We got just a couple of nerd updates I want to share with everybody before we get out of here. First of all, I want to get your opinions on Johnny Depp as the Joker in the Batman, the one with Robert Pattinson.
Okay. I dig it.
You do?
I like Johnny Depp. Anything that he's ever touched. Even some of the movies I didn't like of his. He did it. As an actor, I think he can pull it off.
He's an amazing actor. I think he could do anything, and I think he would give us a great Joker. Yeah. But I was kind of thinking that, and I know this is just me, so whatever, but I was kind of hoping that we would get like a younger, like closer to Robert Pattinson's age Joker. I mean, and I know Johnny Depp's not that old, and I know that the Joker's kind of, he always was a little older than Batman, it seems like, but
right.
I was just kind of hoping for someone a little younger. And if
well, too, real quick, I said this on the last show, this summer where, you posted on our Facebook page that we're about to get the 3 Jokers.
Yes.
This could be the Joker that started it all in this universe. Or he could have, been the second Joker prior to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, or however they want to play it, if they play it that way. But maybe this is the Joker in this universe. Maybe he's the first Joker that's going to inspire Mr. J, which is Harley Quinn's, love interest, and then, the Jason Todd Joker or whatever, however it's going to go.
And I'm for that, but I also, if we keep getting this is the guy who inspires Joker later on, I'm going to be like, I'm going to start losing interest. Because they did that with Gotham. That was kind of like maybe what happened with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Like, you don't know if he's really the Joker at all because of, that movie, or if he's going to inspire the guy who's going to be the Joker later. And so I don't want another one of those things. But what I will say is Johnny Depp is amazing, and everything he does I love. But if they're going to go with somebody who's a little older, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, dude.
Got to do it.
Whenever they first started to find a new Joker, I think after Jared Leto, or even before Jared Leto, I think there was some fan art going around of Willem Dafoe as Joker. And
sure.
Looks sinister.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah. He would be great. He would be great. And it'll probably never happen. He was in Aquaman, but I just feel like just whatever. Let's just have him be the Joker instead. Because right now they're not. We talked about this on the previous podcast. They're not connected. The worlds aren't right now anyway.
Right.
So use them. But like I say, if that does happen with Johnny Depp, it's going to be amazing. Second one, and those two, that one and this next story, just kind of rumors right now. But I'm hearing that Charlie Cox could be Daredevil in the next Spider-Man movie.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
I didn't really read Daredevil comics. Never really read any huge crossovers between Spider-Man and Daredevil. But I know in the Spider-Man animated series, Spider-Man got in trouble, or Peter Parker got in trouble, and Daredevil, or Matt Murdock, who is Daredevil, played his lawyer in the cartoon show. So, if they're going to go that route, I think that would be kind of cool to see a live action version. Obviously, a different type of storyline of that animated show. So, yeah, hey. So I like Charlie Cox as Daredevil, so bring him to the movie.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to be able to make that jump because the Netflix shows were so cinematic anyway.
Right.
But we talked about, so do you think this opens the door that we'll see Luke Cage, we'll see Jessica Jones, we'll see the Punisher in the, from the Netflix series now in the movies?
I would hope so. I'd rather them stay true with the characters than, getting, somebody else to play those characters.
Yeah.
Like Vincent D'Onofrio, if they don't put him as Kingpin,
That would be so great. Yeah.
And Spider-Man or whatever, how they're going to put it in there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be upset because
and
that's
you're
Kingpin.
And you're right, because you don't have to do origin stories. These are already built in. We already have them. So
yeah, and I think with there's some things that people need. Oh my goodness, origin stories for. But like if you already have them in a universe that are somewhat connected, like you said, they're already established. Just because you didn't mention them in Spider-Man: Far From Home, Kingpin was already doing shady deals during that time. So hey, let's turn the focus on Kingpin rather than Vulture or whoever the villain is at the time. So
well, I hope that happens. I hope, and a lot of times I say you got to watch like Screen Rant, comicbook.com. Screen Rant I trust a little bit more. Comicbook.com, sometimes I don't trust everything they put out. And just for everybody who follows along on Facebook, we love you all and we're so glad you do. Sometimes we post those not necessarily just to break news, because we don't care about breaking news. We'll post some of those and we're not sure if they're true or not, but we just want to discuss. We want to get your ideas on what you think about something like that, if it were to be true. And so we just want you to know we're not trying to hit you with any fake news.
Right.
But we're like, oh, that's interesting. What do you guys think? So it's top, conversation starters and stuff like that. But so those things might not end up happening, but I hope they do. Let's see. So lastly, what I want to talk to you about, this broke, and I'm kind of glad that we had to retape this because it happened between the last taping and this one.
Wait, real quick before we get into that.
Yeah.
That there's also another rumor going around that Black Widow might be moving to Disney Plus. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but I know a lot of theaters, movie companies are pushing stuff to go on demand, and that's going to be like maybe $20 when those movies that are being released on demand will cost, which is kind of cool. I think that's awesome, and this is all because the coronavirus. We can't be around people, and with the scare of spreading the virus. But the rumor also was that Black Widow might be moving to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But I would love it. I don't think they would just give it to Disney Plus for free. I think they would try to charge extra. But regardless on how they do it, I'm definitely going to go see it in the theater. Like,
oh, sure. Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to know, because I know, like, Fast and Furious got moved a whole year. The new 007 movie got moved to September. And so
I think Black Widow is actually going to go to theaters, but it's going to be in, like, October.
That's what I was going to say. So if they started off on digital streaming, you think they'd still have, like, a theatrical release? Well, you have to if you want it to be considered. I mean, I don't know if Black Widow is going to win any awards, but you have to have it like in a theater at least, because I think some of The Irishman was pretty exclusively to Netflix, but they ran it in like a theater or two for a week so they could be considered for awards. But the interesting thing is, like, I love this. Because I think The Hunt is about to be on streaming early now, because it's in theaters right now.
I think Trolls World Tour is going to be on demand as well.
Birds of Prey next week, I believe, comes to streaming way earlier than it would have been.
Oh, speaking of Birds of Prey, real quick, Harley Quinn season 2 comes out next Friday.
Which is interesting. I had no idea. And that's crazy because it just ended like 4 weeks ago. But me and you were talking about on the last pod.
Yeah.
There's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they were like, let's speed it up. Everybody's at home. We got nothing to show people on the DC, other than.
We took off all the other movies.
So, I mean, that's worth having because I really enjoyed the Harley Quinn movie. But so hopefully that happens. Now let me just say before I want to preface, I am a homebody. So yes, all these streamings and all that, I love it. I do love going to the theater though, and I don't want people who work there, who serve the popcorn, who take the tickets, who clean the theaters, who show the movies. I don't want them losing their jobs. You know what I mean? Right. So, but man, some of these movies, I would love it if they came out streaming, and like I could have the option of going to see it at the movie theater or at home. And you know, there are a lot of movies I want to see at the theater, so I wouldn't, but I don't want people to go out of business either. But anyway, so DC Universe, yeah, that's smart of them to put out Harley Quinn. Star Wars, the last Star Wars, I believe, is going to be out next week too, or it's out a little earlier, is what I heard.
Oh yeah, you can stream it now.
Oh okay.
Talking about the what is it? Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
That one, yeah, it's on Vudu right now. So that's where I buy all my movies from when I see them early. So that's on there.
Have you heard about the book? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
So a few things in the book that I want to bring up that I've heard. I need to read the book because it sounds like the book is way better than the movie. But so Palpatine, remember how we were wondering how he was brought back, all that?
Yeah.
So what I heard is that in the book, he's a clone. That and also
he was always a clone?
No, but this version of Palpatine that comes back is a clone. And that Rey's dad is a clone of Palpatine, not her dad. I mean, not like his son.
Oh, okay.
So her dad is Palpatine too. Now, what I've heard, and again, I haven't read it yet, was that the clone Palpatine didn't have any of the powers, and that's why they killed him.
Okay.
So,
but how did? Well, I guess that works because I mean, nobody in Anakin's family had, like, his dad didn't have it, but he wasn't. He was.
Who was Anakin's dad?
I don't think he had one.
Right.
So
Anakin's probably a clone too. Oh my god.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So I got to read that book because I think there were some other revelations in it that I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Might get it on book on tape or something, but yeah. So there, but I think that kind of clears some things up about Palpatine and makes that story even better. Now, somebody told me they were hoping that you remember when Palpatine gets, the Emperor gets killed by Darth Vader at the end of the trilogy, the first trilogy. Maybe that was the clone.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Does that make you think that little baby Yoda in Mandalorian is a clone? It makes me think that it's probably a better chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past it. Yeah. I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be.
Hold on just a sec. I totally blanked on what's her name's name.
Rosario.
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. So and then this is the news that I was talking about between the last pod that we're never going to air and this one that we had to re-record. We got news that Mandalorian Season 2 will feature Ahsoka, and your favorite girl of all time, Rosario Dawson, is going to play Ahsoka. Now, this is obviously an older Ahsoka than you saw in Clone Wars.
Yeah, and now going back, I think this will be a good match because I wasn't thinking of Ahsoka being older. I was thinking of her still being a child, so I was like, or like a teenager or whatever.
Yeah, if it was, if she was, yes, I agree with you. That would have been bad choice. As a voice actor, probably great, but if they're doing a younger, but no, how old would she be now? Well, she would be younger than Darth Vader, but not much, and he's at that point. He's
say
dead.
that she could possibly be in her 30s.
No, because Darth Vader was no, because no, no,
Well,
she would probably be like older than Luke Skywalker. Because Anakin's how much older than her? Like 10 years?
Yeah. So I'll say she'd about be 30.
So you think Anakin was 40 when he died? At the end of the first trilogy?
Is that how long?
I think she's going to be like 40, 50 years old in Mandalorian.
Really? Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'll say late 30s, early 40s. I'll say.
Well, I mean, and Rosario Dawson's what? 40s? Late 40s? Yeah.
No, I think she's in early 40s.
No. Well, let's see. When did Kids come out? She was a little bit older than me, so she's probably 40. I'm going to say she's 45. But yeah, so I like it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. And I think that they're going to be glad that Ahsoka's in the show.
She's 40.
She is 40. So she's my age. Okay.
She'll be 41 this year. In May 9th.
I think me and Rosario, oh, well, she just came out as LGBT, so never mind. I was going to say.
I think that's just her trying to get into the news. Honestly.
I don't know why. She doesn't seem like the type of person who would crave the attention just for the attention. And it kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to judge somebody for coming out. I mean, live your life.
I'm not either, but
it just doesn't feel right to you?
No.
I don't know.
But whatever.
You're just not a fan.
No, I'm not really.
I've been in love with her since the first day I saw her on, I think it was Kids was the first time I ever saw her in that movie, which is not a good movie. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's one of those movies that you kind of like sad to endorse.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. I do like it though. You saw that movie, right?
I've never saw it.
Oh my God. You've never seen Kids? It had Rosario Dawson, Chloe Sevigny. Wow. Well, despite the name of it, do not watch it around the kids.
Yeah.
But you got to watch it.
So don't watch Kids around kids?
Never.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you should watch it. I loved that movie back in the day. Plus, you're kind of a New York fan. It's like, it's very much an ode to New York City,
Oh.
But it's also there's a lot of bad stuff that goes down in that movie.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it again now. So Rosario Dawson, she's Ahsoka. Now that leads me to the last bit of thing. We're not going to get into it. Where are you in Clone Wars though?
I just watched the last episode with Ahsoka in it.
Okay. So what season though?
7.
Oh, you're on the last season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I'm still on season 6. I'm about halfway through it, right? And from what I had understood, and maybe I'm wrong, but you haven't watched the other one though, right? Rebels.
Right.
Okay. Well,
I watched a couple episodes, but that was years ago, whenever it first came out.
I thought that people were under the assumption that Ahsoka might be dead, and so I'm not sure. Like, obviously with her being in Mandalorian, she's probably not, unless she's a clone.
Everybody's a clone.
That's the world. How do you know I'm not a clone, Cameo? How do you know you're not a clone? Maybe you came from a Cameo long ago.
Maybe.
But I'd be mad if I'm a clone, I'm going to be mad at the original Brad Reed because he didn't leave me any of that. I have enough money to have a clone money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So original Brad Reed. F you, buddy.
YouTube Cameo. Original Cameo.
Yeah. So I got to hurry up and finish Clone Wars so we can discuss that. How many more episodes do you have to go?
Oh, I've watched all. I think there's 5 of season 7 already.
Oh, you're done. You're all done.
Yeah.
Oh, so I got homework tonight.
Yes, you do.
All right, I'll finish it, and then we'll do another Skype video, another Skype cast.
Okay.
And we'll talk about Clone Wars on the next show. How about that?
We can do it.
How about that?
Catch me outside.
No, catch you inside.
Yeah, how about that?
How about that? All right, Cameo, that wraps it up for me.
All right, keep it nerdy.
Keep a smile on your face.
This is the way.
Only took us 2 shows to get that.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Cameo.